How does a two-time national karate champ at age 10 become a published poet, collaborate with hip-hop royalty, and even grace the airwaves of Fox News? Find out in today's episode as we meet with the one and only SB The Anomoly.
Lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
Well, I am so excited today. Today's episode is a very special episode. We have the one and the only SB The Anomoly.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for being here today. When I first met SB, he was teaching hip hop and my daughter was taking ballet next door. And the way that SB worked with all of the children was truly outstanding. And then years later, we met up again at the gym.
Yes.
And we've been friends ever since. And it's been so beautiful just to see SB rise to the level that he is at today. All of his accomplishments are incredibly impressive. We could probably spend a whole 48 hours going over everything this man has done in his life. But we are so excited and we thank you for making time for us today.
Oh, pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me. I love the energy, love the vibe. Let's do it.
The energy is so important. So your background, it's incredibly diverse, from touring with KSR1 to being a 2-time national champion in karate by the age of 10. In your entrepreneurial journey, what is one extreme marketing activity that you've done? Or if you haven't done one yet, what is one that you plan to do?
For me, I just in person because social media is a great outlet because you can put a post up, you can boost posts, things of that nature, but the word of mouth is very powerful. So realistically, anytime I do a motivational speaking seminar or I'm hosting a class like you described earlier, I actually just did one like an hour ago, or whether I'm just performing, that really is the most diverse form of it because so many different entities come, people are invited to see it, and it's really the audience, right? If you get someone who is really connected or you have an ability or skill set that draws people to you, they're gonna tell other people, and it's not really the message, it's more so the messenger. So if someone of high quality and value sees you perform, sees your podcast, sees your show, I guess kind of like an investor, if you will. Someone has that kind of power behind them and they say, hey, you need to hire this person, you need to get this person. So it's really about putting yourself in front of the correct people. A lot of people don't really know who their audience is, or are rather. Like they know what they want to do, they know what the skill set is, but they don't really know where to put that in front of or who to put that in front of. So I'm pretty good at taking my skill sets and making sure the right people see it, whether it's in a large venue with thousands of people or even if it's in an intimate setting, but within that intimate setting, the right people are there, whether that's in New York, whether that's in Orlando, and I do a lot of them. I mean, they're very sporadic. I'm always doing something. It's not really one in specific, but that's really what gets me to different levels in terms of connections and things of that nature. Like I could delete my social media right now and it really wouldn't matter because the right people know who I am and they're gonna keep me connected to everything that I do.
I love that. I have seen you do some incredible things. I think one of the most recent big things I saw you do is where you danced like Michael Jackson for like a Halloween event.
Yeah, that was a great time. Yeah, I was Michael Jackson. We did that in Kissimmee in Old Town with this school that I teach at, which I teach at different schools, but the primary focus of mine that I do residually is performing at Ignite Performing Arts Center in Kissimmee. And we did that for the duration of October. And I was Michael. Yeah, we did Thriller and dressed up like a zombie. It was like a Walking Dead / like hip hop.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thank you. It was a great time. Again, even in that, certain people came to that show that plugged me into everything that I'm doing now dance-wise. So it's all about just being around the right people. Of course, social media is really important. There's a lot of great things with social media, analytics, things of that nature. But if you're not going out and tapping into it as an artist, per se, as an artist, then you're gonna miss an opportunity for sure. And that's in sales too, whether it's sales or whether it's artistry. You want to kind of get out there, and because I'm in that realm and those are my genres, I have to physically be in front of the right people. It's very important.
Yes. Absolutely. And one thing that I noticed with you is you, in conjunction to being in the right spot at the right time, you have this natural ability to just resonate with your audience.
Oh, thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about how, about your creative process and how you relate to people so well?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said earlier, it's not the message, it's more so the messenger. So, with me, I'm really big on self-talk. Like, I have a very positive outlook on everything I'm going to do. And just for people in general, whether you're into podcasting or presentations or whatever the case may be, because you have the product, but then you also have the presentation of the product, right? Delivery, which is very quintessential to the way someone's going to receive what you're talking about. So you have to be an optimistic individual in the sense that your self-talk needs to be, they're going to love this, they're going to like this, they're going to really appreciate that. A lot of people get nervous in front of people talking, whether you're at a podcast situation or whether you're in front of people in a group. So it's okay to be nervous. So I embrace the nervousness. I'm always nervous before I do things. But for me, when I'm nervous, it just shows that I am really into what I am doing and I really care about the result. So if you feel nervous when you're about to do something as an artist, owner, speaker, podcaster, it's okay to feel nervous because that just means you care about how you're being received and perceived. So do not believe there's something wrong with being nervous. And I just know how to say things the right way, delivery, and I become human with people. That's a really big thing. Like I teach public speakers all the time, authors, and when I say become human, you must be tangible. So if you get in front of a group of people and you can't read the dynamic of your audience and you don't say the right things, it's not gonna work. So let me give you an example. When I go to a school of younger people, I know younger people like rap and they like dance. So the more you have in common with someone, the more people are gonna like you. People like who they are alike. That's a really important thing to understand. So I make comments or I say things that make me a person to them. Like, oh, he likes music the way I like music, or he likes dance or fashion, or he likes things that I like, so now I can understand him a little bit better and now I can resonate with him. And now I become a stronger messenger. So now when I say things, they receive it a lot better. So I'm just really good at reading the room and knowing how to cater to the likes and dislikes of the people around me.
And when you are speaking to the young people, do you use the words bruh and riz?
You know, it's funny, I will with them as a joke. And I'll make it a joke because I don't really use those words, but I'll say it in a funny way. Like, for example, I was talking at Ivy Hahn Charter School of the Arts in Lake Helen. Really, really good school for anyone that has a kid that's into dancing. You would probably be familiar with that. And I had the whole room full of kids, and a lot of them didn't know me. A good amount did that were in the dance world because I teach a dance over there every now and then. And big shout out to Natalie for letting me do my thing over there. And I made little jokes. Like this kid was like, yo, are you him? Are you him? And now, if you don't know what that means, him is like a term that people say like that they're the guy, they're the best. Like, I'm him. Now, I don't walk around saying I'm him, but I made a joke out of it. So yeah, I'm Himmy Neutron. I'm Himmy Turner from the Himalayas cooking Himmy Dean in the morning, and they ate it up because, oh, he understands our language. Mm-hmm. So now, because I deposited into them I can withdraw their attention. I can take that because now they're listening to me. I'm not just a person in a suit, talking to them. Now I'm someone that they can relate to. And once it's relatable, the outcome is never going to be debatable. It's going to be exactly what it needs to be. You have to be able to read the room. And that's an intangible skill set that you have to pick up through communication.
I love that you mentioned that because I have read a lot about that. In order to have your message received, the person has to understand the language that you're speaking. If they don't understand the language that you're speaking, or it doesn't strike them, then they're not going to be able to receive whatever it is that you're saying. So I love that you mentioned that, and the importance of just being able to read the room and get to know who you are speaking with, because that is so important. And one of my favorite things that I've ever seen you do was the rapping carolers. That was so amazing. In fact, my favorite line was, "Yeah, you know how I am. I come to your house and take the holiday ham." It was amazing. So that must have been a really interesting and quite unique experience.
Yeah, no, let me give some context for those that have no idea why she just said that. So we were on the news in Tampa. We were on Fox News, and they gave us a subject on the spot, and our subject was the Grinch. And the Grinch takes the holiday ham. That's why I don't people, why are you rapping about the holiday ham? Because I was the Grinch in that impromptu freestyle rap on live TV. Like, there was no opportunity to mess up or anything like that. So I thought it was pertinent to mention the holiday ham in the name of the Grinch.
It was incredible.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
How did you manage to get that gig?
Oh, thank you for asking. So we did the caroler gig at the Sparkman Wharf a year prior. As the first time that we did it. And at its inception, they got a really good reception. They got a really good turnout. People loved it. We did some singing. I don't sing, but we made it part of the joke, did some singing, did some rhyming. My friend Rubox, he's an amazing beatboxer. He had connected me to the show. So it went so well, they wanted us to come back again, this past December. But this time, because it went so well, they wanted us to go on the news and promote it. And it was just really cool because I have freestyle rap since I was 13, and I'm 36 now, right? It's been over 20 years, and I had never rapped on the news before live. There's a big difference when a lot of people are watching you.
Absolutely.
and you don't know what they're gonna say. In fact, it was funny because we were on the news, it was live, and we asked them for characters, Christmas characters, and it's a family event. And we're all thinking they're gonna say something like, like a Santa Claus or a snowman or Rudolph or, whatever. And he said, Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon. I don't know who that, I'm like, I have no idea who that is. But I couldn't look scared on national TV. I'm like, okay. I looked at my friend, so are we doing that? Is that gonna be the name we're gonna go with? And I would have figured it out as we went along. But yeah, thank God. The other woman anchor was like, "Hey, how about the Grinch?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We should probably go with the holiday ham guy for sure." But yeah, it was a great time.
That's amazing. If you enjoy the Miss Biz podcast but still have questions or need advice, we have some exciting news for you. Join us for Miss Biz Connects. Miss Biz Connects is a weekly 1-hour Zoom call on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This is 1 hour each week dedicated to you. We want to meet you and put our brains together to help you grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
To access the meeting link, visit us on our social media pages at Miss Biz Podcast or send us an email to missbizpod@gmail.com.
Join us this Friday and let's grow the Miss Biz Nation.
So our listeners, they're all business owners, and finding time for balance is absolutely crucial and oftentimes is a struggle. And then I look at you with such a dynamic skill set. I mean, you are a rapper, a stuntman, you teach you teach a lot of different things, actually. You help with credit repair, like you do so much. And I was just wondering, in terms of like our audience and our listeners, what advice would you give them for basically juggling multiple different careers or talents or avenues?
Understood. Be very intentional with your time. Be very intentional in the regard of you want to write things down. So like from 11 to 1, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You know, from 2 to 4, you're going to do A, B, C. And I know that sounds really regimented, but you have to do that, because if you are whimsical, especially when you are a business owner, you have a very different life at that point, because people that work 9 to 5, they know that the shift begins at 9, it ends at 5. It's a very, very, you know, straightforward, black and white ordeal. When you are someone that has a 9 to 5 and you're working in your own business, or 5 to 9, if you will, or you're just straightforward working from, you know, your own, you know, thing, you have your own LLC, like myself, you need to be very intentional about your free time. So you have to physically write down, from this time to this time, you do nothing, or you hang with your kids, or you go outside and take a walk, or you read a book, or you watch a TV show. There's this thing that I had for a very long time, and that was, you know, you have to work, and that's why I even got the different talents that you just mentioned. You know, I'm all over the place, but it was never meant to be that way. I just kept learning, and I continue learning, and as I learn something, I monetize it. If I know how to do something good, I monetize it. Like I literally, as I sat down at this table, I got a message before we started asking me to teach dance to senior citizens for an hour. And again, that was never a thought for me, but now that I know how to teach kids and stuff like that, it translates into other things. And that came from me doing a radio show similar to this. So, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, people have to know you and have word of mouth, and they have to like you as well. But to the question again, be very intentional. From this time to this time, I'm doing this, and you should also have that same regard to your craft. Like, I'm gonna read a book, like you were saying earlier, on communication. From this time to this time, I'm gonna do social media marketing from this time to this time. I'm gonna have a meeting from this time to this time, and keep writing out your days until you feel like you can manage it within your own comprehension without having the additional assistance of a calendar or a meeting maker or a planner. But you have to be very intentional with what you're doing, because the day goes like this. And before you know it, you're tired. Especially if you're a really hard worker, you might just pass out. You might be someone that just is working, and you just fall asleep randomly. So you don't really want that to be a thing. You want to make sure you're intentional also for your health. Health is wealth. You know, you have to look out for yourself. It could be workouts, it could be eating healthy, it could be cooking for yourself. Like I cook for myself now. Never been that way before. You know, I was very proud of myself. I made eggs the other morning, and I was very proud of that, because I'm not someone that does that in the morning. You know, I'm more of I eat like food like that at night. Like I eat French toast at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I got up, it was 6:40, I made my eggs, I made my French toast. I was very intentional with that, and now it's in my routine. So, you know, just little wins like that and just making that part of your routine is very important.
That's great advice, to really be intentional about what your plans are, what your goals are, and you're much more likely to accomplish it if you have it planned out and you're intending to do it. As I'm listening to you speak, I can tell you're just very quick-witted on your feet, and being a freestyle rapper, you have to be able to think quickly and come up with rhymes and things like on the top of your head. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you have developed over the course of time? Because I think it's a really valuable skill when you're trying to connect with your audience, to be able to think quickly and translate that into the words you're speaking.
I love that you brought that up, and that's a great observation. So yeah, when I teach motivational speaking, public speaking, I actually make them rap. And obviously a lot of them don't care for rap, right? Because they don't like rap, but they don't see themselves as a rapper. And I tell them what you just said. I said, you're looking at it wrong. It's not about you going on a microphone and saying, yo, 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 and making an album. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to learn how to be quick. In the same breath, for people that want to be speakers on any avenue, you should take improv classes. It's not really about rapping, it's about just being able to think on the spot. So to answer your question, no, I was not like that. I actually, to this day, still stutter, and I stuttered worse when I was younger. And I used to get made fun of for trying to rap when I was younger, which is the whole irony of my life in general, because now those people are like, oh, you know. And it took a while, but in my situation, not to get too deep into it, I was put in a place where I wasn't really fond of the life that I was living, and I got injured, which threw off my martial arts, which threw off my sports. Believe it or not, I know I look kind of small, but I was a captain of a basketball team, captain of a football team, captain of a baseball team. I was always really talented in sports, and I was a part of really good teams that became championship teams. So with that all being said, when I hurt myself, well, I didn't hurt myself, but when I got hurt, and that all kind of got stripped away from me at the same exact time, it was like, wow, I didn't have anything else to do. So I was pushed into a different avenue, and that avenue became music and rhyming. But for me, rhyming was more so being heard, because I was so afraid to speak, whether it was because of my stuttering, people making fun of how I spoke, people saying that I have bad breath. It was a whole bunch of stuff when I was a little kid. So it was a liberating thing for me. And then the more I got better, or the better I got at it, the more liberated I felt. It was like positive reinforcement to keep getting better at it. And then I just kept rapping, and it wasn't good, right? I just make stuff up. But then I got to the point where I could do metaphors and similes, what we call punchlines, back to back to back to back to back to back to back every 2 lines, or for anyone that knows about hip hop or music, every 2 bars. And that was a very smart investment on my part. But it wasn't something I was conscious of, but it came back full circle, because that's what I do now. And if I wasn't able to do that, I wouldn't be able to do the news thing or be a part of my group that I'm a part of called Freedaps, where we freestyle all over the world. You know, we were just in Italy performing for the Navy on the largest ship in the world. Yeah, and it was unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And it came from the ability to do that. We're on the sea heading toward Turkey, and I feel like I'm in the Top Gun movie. Like, we literally came in like on a cod, and you know, snap with the metal seats and the gloves and the goggles and the hat. It was really insane, and I was there because of freestyle rap. You know, and for anyone that is watching this podcast and listening, it's not a derogatory or negative thing. We don't curse. We don't curse. So it's like we do it for kids in libraries. We do it for adults. We do it for people at SAT Comedy Lab in Orlando. Every couple of months, we do it all over the world, in colleges, for the military, showcases. I was at a debate at the Civic Center not too long ago, a few months ago. And again, just the fact that that is something I chose to do, I did not realize the bigger picture. And speaking was one of them. I'm very comfortable talking in front of people because of rap.
I absolutely love that story. That is so inspiring to be able to not only overcome, but then kind of like just prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, that's a little satisfying.
Yeah,
selfishly.
It's very satisfying. I actually just saw something on the internet that said, the best thing that ever happened to me was when you told me that I couldn't, and I said, "Watch me."
Yeah, I don't know who said this quote, but this person said the best motivational speeches you're ever going to hear are going to come from people telling you what you can't do. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, you can't tell me what I can't do. I take that personal. I take that very personal. I'm like, okay. Then I go home like a madman and figure it out. Like, I remember I started walking on stilts randomly. I just, like a random skill, so I could walk on peg stilts.
That is so cool.
Just because. But that's another avenue of money. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money you make in 15 minutes. And you're just walking on gigantic pogo sticks. I just have that in the back of my head if I ever need it. So always learn, always keep going. And like you said, it's just very satisfying when you overcome. You need struggle. Mm-hmm. Without struggle, there's no victory. It's no story worth watching if you don't have a problem to deal with.
Absolutely. And it's usually during our biggest times of adversity that we grow the most as well. Mm-hmm. So for our listeners, if you haven't seen SB before, you are missing out, because he is one of the most stylish men I have ever met in my life. So what's the secret behind your impeccable sense of style?
You are too kind. I've never been asked that question before. Thank you. I've been waiting for that question. No, I'm just joking. Honestly, I'm from New York, so the ugliest person has the nicest fashion, right? And I got called ugly very frequently, so I had to have something going for me physically. But yeah, I mean, my mother, it could be this. My mother was a personal shopper for Bergdorf Goodman on Fifth Avenue. For anyone that has no idea what I'm talking about, Bergdorf Goodman, you might have seen it in the show Sex and the City. She was one of 4 people that worked in this gigantic building in New York on Fifth Avenue, and she sold to the richest women in the world, from Mrs. Pillsbury to princesses, queens.
Wow.
And maybe that kind of trickled down to me. But also, I think on a more tangible level, all my heroes that were around me, all my friends growing up in the Bronx, all had the best sense of fashion, like the best sneakers, the coolest hats, coolest outfits. And I didn't dress like them. I was nothing like them at all. But I would see them, and all the girls loved them. And I remember they used to drive around the city, and I'd be this little kid in the back of a gigantic van. They'd come out the car and get girls' phone numbers. I'm like, wow, this must be a cool thing. Not the number part, but like girls like them, and they're dressed so cool, so maybe I should dress pretty cool. And I'm not saying I dress cool for girls, but like it was cool to see like how they carry themselves. They were super on point, like the hats, the shirts, the jerseys, the shoelaces, the jackets. And I just, being in hip hop as well, one of the parts of hip hop is the fashion. I'm not really like a fashion person, I'm not like a Kanye who would have people dress, I'm not a fashion connoisseur period, so I'm not saying it's bad fashion, but they're very interesting, very eclectic ways of dressing. I'm not into that, like designer, but I like colors. I love ombre, different gradients, and I just really am OCD when it comes to that, and only that, like nothing else. But when it comes to colors, whether I'm wearing a suit, whether I'm wearing a little outfit like this, like if I showed you my sneakers, like everything matches the different colors here, even like my tattoos are orange, and there's always a science behind what I'm doing, so yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
It's impeccable.
Oh, thank you.
And for all of you out there who are curious, you can go to TikTok and look up SB The Anomoly, and you will be able to see like every single post he's got, an amazing outfit he's got, a hat that matches, his shoes are on fleek, like everything is just incredible, and he has an outfit for every occasion.
Have to. You ever try to throw clothes away? You ever try to do that or give clothes
It's hard.
away? Or give clothes? Yeah, I tried. It didn't work. I'm like, I might need this color. I might need this yellow blue shirt one day. I might need this green. And I just feel like I might need it one day. Even down to socks. I recently had 2 goals a few years ago. I wanted to have an LOC, right? And I wanted to have socks that were cool. Those are my 2 goals. Very, very, very important goals. And I didn't have enough shorts because I don't really wear shorts like that. So I bought every color short I can think of, every different color. I have like little special sock drawers. Which if you ever have a lot of socks, it's really cool because normally when you put socks in your drawer, it might be hard to see them. But these sock drawers, little square, little outlets, and you can put your socks in a little ball, and you can see like what color they are. And I have it down to the greens, the blues, the reds, and not saying you have to match your clothing. I'm just saying that I enjoy it. That's like something I'm into. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I've never been asked that before.
Absolutely. And for all you out there, you should definitely try to take a lesson out of his book because he's just, and that's kind of what he's known for too. Like you become recognized based upon how you dress, and it's also very cool. Whenever I see you, I'm like, I wonder what he's gonna wear today. Like,
It's funny you say that because I've been noticing lately, like. And I can't really give you a specific example, but there's been multiple instances over the past like month or so where people, that guy's he's always dressed, or he's always that, and like you don't realize that people are always watching you. Which another big part of your business is how you present yourself on social media and what you write. Like if you have a page, do not write negative things, do not write crazy things, do not put out things that are derogatory, because even if it's your personal page, you are your business, you are your brand, and if you're not likable, it doesn't really matter how good your brand is. People don't realize that. They don't realize people are always watching. It's like when you put out a video and it has 3,000 views and like 25 likes. That doesn't really match up. Someone's not reacting to the video, but they're watching the video. They're always watching. So yeah, it goes back to the clothing. I didn't realize that people pay attention like that, but they do.
They're the ghosts. That's
yeah.
what we call them, the
That's
ghosts.
Right.
So tell us, what is next for SB? Do you have any big business ventures or projects that you're working on?
Yeah, there's always something, man. Sorry. There's always something. Yeah, so my next, I would say, I won't say big thing, but my main focus right now is I have a song that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier, and it's going to be streaming on all platforms, which I rarely do because I'm not really a big fan of streaming as an artist, because I hate the way they pay artists with the streaming. It's robbery. But I'm going to stream this for everybody because I know people are going to want to pick their phones up and go to Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. And it's about my childhood. And I'm shooting a video about it, and it's about what I went through as a kid with my parents, what I went through as a kid in school, all the struggles, all the hard times, and what made me essentially who I am. And I've let a few people hear it, because it's not released yet, and everyone that hears it, whether they're man or woman, cries. So we're gonna shoot that March 3rd, and we're gonna aim to put that out before March is over, if not April, depending on how long it takes to clear on the streaming side. And I'm really excited about that, because that song is going to touch a lot of people, and just the idea that we have to shoot it is really powerful. I'm really, as you can see, I keep saying really, because I really am excited to put it out there. And then in addition to that, you know, I have showcases for dance with the schools that I'm teaching. I have a second book that I've been working on forever because I'm super lazy. I'm like the laziest, busiest, most productive person. Like, I'm so productive, but I'm so lazy. Like, because for me, like you said, I do the music, the dancing, the acting, the stunt work, the teaching. And when I say teach, I teach martial arts, I teach stuff on credit. Like, I don't do credit repair in terms of like, we're gonna send letters on your behalf. I don't do that. I teach people how to actually have credit. Because if we send letters and that doesn't do anything for you. You know, even if you get the bureaus to remove the stuff, you still don't know what you're doing. So I teach credit, teach poetry, spoken word, public speaking, English, social studies, debate. Like, I'm all over the place. So I'm doing things in all those areas. And yeah, I guess just to wrap up the rambling, you know, the music video, my second book, more teaching, and I'm trying to not travel as much, which I know is like backwards. Trying
to not travel as much?
Yeah, people like, doesn't sound right, but I'm not really a fan of being gone for a long time or constantly being on the go. Like, it was great when I was younger. It was like, yeah, this is the dream. Like, I used to dream about being in hotels, not even about being home. You know, I've traveled, I've toured overseas, toured throughout the U.S. I don't want to have to travel to garner money. I want to be able to do things at my comfort and my convenience. And not saying I don't like traveling, but I'm more intentional with my personal travel. So, you know, I'm going on cruises, or I just came back from Vegas. I did a freestyle rap for my friend's proposal, which was really, really cool. I've never done that before. And just being more intentional, like we talked about earlier, with personal things.
You know we're all about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case.
At Bolts Legal, we are all about your case. Text or call to schedule a free consultation for all your legal needs. boltslegal.com.
Well, I am so excited to hear your new song coming out.
I'll send it to you.
I cannot wait. You are so inspiring
Thank
to
you.
everyone. In fact, I remember reading something where people actually had like your poetry lyrics tattooed on themselves.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so essentially I have a book called Words of an Anomoly. It's a poetry book, and I was never trying to be an author that was published. I just wrote. But what happened was, very long story short, when I was in my early 20s, 22, like 21 going to 22, I started doing Ustreams. Ustream was the thing back then, right? And I would go on there and I would tell people, hey, like, put topics in the chat room and I'm gonna speak on those topics, right? And I was doing it impromptu, and I was doing that to train myself to speak publicly. I had already did public speaking before that, but I was trying to get really good with it and get it better interacting. So I started getting people hitting me up about my lyrics. The first person to tattoo my lyrics was my friend Diana. She tattooed this huge, like, thing, like, not huge, but the font is so large and she's so tiny, it took up like half her back. And I remember we were at Tijuana Flats, she goes, look at my new tattoo. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, it's a cool quote. And she was like, no, look at the quote. And I'm like, yeah, I see it, it's a really good quote. She goes, it's your quote, you idiot. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Cause I didn't realize that someone would tattoo my lyrics. That was like a foreign concept to me. So when that happened, it just opened up a ripple effect. Now over 20 people have my lyrics tatted on their body. And then from there, that's where the publishing of the poetry book came from. But yeah, that's where that came from. People would say, hey, Ian, my story is this, and I would put it in a poem for them. So let's say you had a relationship that was really important to you and didn't work out. You would come to me, you would tell me that relationship, I would summarize it into a poem for you, and then I would give it to you. And that's how I would kind of give you a memento of that time and experience. So then that with the Ustreams and then my friend having the tat, people say, this guy is good with his words. And I never, charged a person for a quote, because it's like you're putting my lyrics on you, and half of them put my name on them, which they're lucky I didn't change my name, because that would have been horrible, right?
It would have been terrible.
Yeah, but I like SB if it flows. So yeah, and that's how that kind of came about in my early 20s. So by the time I turned 23, I was ready to do the book, put the poems together, and now you can get that book on Amazon, Google, whatever. It was never intended to make money. It was supposed to be a thank you, so I don't care how you find it. It's just Words of an Anomaly. Buy it, check it out. It's a nice little guide to life, and it rhymes. All the poems rhyme.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
So what is the best way for our listeners to be able to reach out to you, to be able to hire you, to be able to support you in some type of way?
They can take my Cash App. No, I'm like, no. So yeah, SB The Anomoly is everything. SBTheAnomoly.com. SB The Anomoly on Instagram. If you're like in this area in Florida, you put in SB, my name probably pops up immediately. But SB The Anomoly on Instagram, Twitter. The email was info@sbtheanomoly.com. Just type in SB The Anomoly on any social media outlet, and it'll come right up. And I'm pretty good at responding to messages. And yeah, I'm down for anything, whether it's speaking, workshops, performing. Wherever I can find a means to fit in, I'm open to it. And yeah, it's just me. I do have representation for like acting and modeling, but I still handle my stuff. So yeah, you could just write me directly, and I would love to work with anybody, help anybody. If it's a charity event, I'm down for that as well. Anything that I can really be used as an instrument of inspiration or motivation, I'm always down for that.
I love that you mentioned the charity event, because that's one thing that I've always known about you ever since I met you, is that you love to give back.
Yeah,
you are always working with children of all ages, of all over the state, even out of the state. Like, you are always looking to give back to the community. So I love that you mentioned that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, money is great, but there are other things outside of that, and people will forget your name, but they won't forget how they felt, and I've had a good amount of kids see me because I taught them when they were younger. 10, 15 years passes and they recognize me in the street, and they go from being this cool adult or whatever to like a kid again in that moment, because they remember. Mm-hmm. They remember the things you do for them. And I had certain people pour into me when I was younger, and I'm not a self-made person. A lot of people say they're self-made. That's an interesting idea that you're self-made. I was not self-made. I was definitely a result. I'm like a Powerpuff Girl. I had like different ingredients put in a pot and stirred, and another chemical went in there, and I came out wearing a hat and some sneakers. So yeah, I figure the value of your life is measured by how many lives you impact. So you might as well use artistry, and you might as well use the gifts you have, because that's really the legacy. That's who you are. People talk about you, how they speak about you, and how they conduct themselves as a result of what you gave them is who you are. on this planet and what you are, when you pass away.
Mentorship. We've been talking about mentorship for a couple weeks now with our last guest, but being a mentor as well and being able to impact others' lives, that is truly important as well, just to be able to give back and
Definitely.
help someone grow.
Definitely.
Well, we have a surprise for you, and
man.
we are very excited for you to see this.
Okay.
So if you give us a minute, we will get that going.
Okay. This is exciting.
He's a handsome, poetry-loving, huggable type of dude.
He's also a karate champ.
Dang, son, what don't you do?
He's an actor. He teaches women self-defense.
He's a frontman, he's a rapper, a karate champ by the age of 10.
He's SB The Anomoly. You name it, he's done it.
If there's a contest, yeah, he's won it.
The Anomoly.
He's kicked some butt and he's taking names.
But I heard he writes nice poetry.
If you still need proof he rocks, can you say you rapped on Fox?
Our audience,
Oh, maybe.
we should wrap this up.
He's SB The Anomoly.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Surprise!
Thank you so much.
John chapter 1, verse 12 says, "But to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God." We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.